Do you love or do you hate Avogadro's constant questions? Don't fall in this trap. Let me give you the exam mistakes that students make in this question that can give you very easy mark for open and multiple choice questions. If you know me, you know that I always sing moles, ratio, moles. This should always make you think about, well, of course, the moles, but also ratio. And how do we find a ratio? We're going to have the formula or the balanced equation, which is something that we do not have here. So how many molecules of nitrogen gas are in 4 grams? Nitrogen gas, how do we write that? Oh, is N true? We cannot get this wrong because we have the hint that it's a molecule, not an atom. So the calculation here is actually really simple. But what I wanted to highlight is that we could have two types of exam question. One like this, relatively easy. How many molecules of nitrogen are? The other one is how many atoms of nitrogen gas are in 4 grams. And the calculation will go quite differently. Let's see, in the first case, how many molecules of nitrogen gas are in 4 grams? Well, what are the equations that relate the Avogadro's constant, the moles, and the mass? So, moles, number of particles, and Avogadro's constant. But we have the mass, so how is the mass related to the moles? Mass, moles times mR. So what can we find? We can find the moles of nitrogen. Let me write down the calculations for you. The moles of nitrogen is 4 over the mR. Remember, it's N2, so the mR will be 28 in total. 0.143. Now, how do we find the number of atoms? That's super simple. We just time this by the Avogadro's constant. And that gives us option A, which is correct. But now, the other scenario, what if instead we had how many atoms of nitrogen are in 4 grams? Notice that the moles are of nitrogen molecule, and that's where the ratio should sink to us. Because what is the ratio between nitrogen atom and nitrogen molecule? For every nitrogen molecule, we have 2 nitrogen atoms. So in this case, we would also have 2 times the mole by 2. And then how would we find the particles? We would time this by the Avogadro's constant. So of course this is not the case, but please pay attention when you have an Avogadro's constant question. What are you asked? Atoms, molecules, or even ions? Because you might have to apply the ratio.